Now, I think all of us Bears fans knew just how important this season was to the development of Justin Fields. He's going into his second year. You want to see growth. You want to see progression. The assumption being that getting rid of Numbskull Nagy is going to be a big step in a positive direction, right? Right. Feels logical. Anyways, and you knew, like, this is, if you have any brains in your head, you knew that the number one goal of the program this year was not to try and squeak into the playoffs as a 7th seed or some unrealistic dumb crap like that. It was, you needed to see if Justin Fields could prove to be the guy. Because if he could show you enough to where you could believe that he is, it changes the entire trajectory of the organization. And if he doesn't, or worst of all, you can't make that evaluation one way or another, you're where you always are. Bears football! And I think we knew that this was not an ideal situation for a young quarterback. You know, getting rid of Nagy, good thing. On the downside, means he has to learn a second offensive system in 2 seasons. That's less than ideal for a young quarterback, but again, necessary evil, right? But you also knew that the supporting cast around him on offense was not going to be the best. And there are plenty of excuses you can make in defense of Justin Fields and his performance so far this year that don't really have anything to do with him. And I start off, obviously, like you go to the crypt keeper, Virginia McCaskey. She's problem number 1. And you say, well, what does she really have to do anything with it? She's the one that put all of her nincompoop kids in charge, especially Goofy George. Oh, yuck, gosh. Like, that's where the problem starts. And then it trickles down from Goofy George, get me a Go-Gurt and a deep dish pizza, please. Down to Bean Counting Ted. Second time, I'll get the stadium right before I retire, I swear. Those 2 clowns conspired to hire Ryan Poles. If you really want to blame the lack of, like, notable progression and the lack of impressive performances by Justin Fields through 6 games so far this season on anybody, start with Ryan Poles. He's the one coming from Kansas City, so he was around Andy Reid, he was around Patrick Mahomes, and said, yeah, this formula's been really successful, so let me do the exact freaking opposite. Let me go hire a defensive-minded head coach, a defensive coordinator from a good but not great Indianapolis Colts defense, who, by the way, didn't even make the playoffs last year. And then let me go snag, put him up. I'm gutsy. I'm the offensive coordinator. I got courage. 36 halfback dive. Let me go take the offensive coordinator, not even the offensive coordinator, the quarterback coach from the Green Bay Packers, and plug him in as the offensive coordinator. Yeah, because the Packers looked so spectacular in the playoffs last year in the divisional round, all right, offensively. Oh, that's typical Bears football type of stuff there. You need to build around your offensive unit. You need to build around your young quarterback that you have a lot invested in. So you go hire a defensive-minded head coach. Because of course you do. And then, to make it worse, the top priority for Ryan Poles in free agency was not an offensive tackle, not an offensive guard, not, God forbid, a center, not, God forbid, a wide receiver. It was a 3-technique defensive tackle for his new defensive-minded head coach's defense. And he didn't even get him. And that was his number 1 goal of the program in the offseason, was to go sign Larry Ogunjobi. Came to terms with him. Dude couldn't pass the physical. This guy spent his first 2 picks in the draft on the secondary. When he finally did draft somebody on offense, it was a 25-year-old return man. And you look at the free agent signings on offense. Lucas Patrick, Riley Reef, Michael Schofield, nah. Who else? Byron Pringle, I like that signing. He's been hurt, but right now is a non-factor. Equanimous St. Brown is more of a 4-5 type of wide receiver. You get what I'm saying? They spent money on Kari Blasingame, a fullback. How often do they even use a damn fullback here? My point is it's really hard to expect Justin Fields to be tremendously successful when there's a dereliction of duty of the leadership that is specifically put in place with the number 1 responsibility to build around your young quarterback. And seeing some of these dopey Bears fans on social media still try to defend Ryan Poles. Well, he's got a vision, he's got a long-term plan. How the fuck do you know? Because everything I've seen, early indications, is he looks like he was the wrong guy for the job. The hell has he done to earn any of your benefit of the doubt? You're going to say I'm negative. I'm going to say you're fucking naive. Insane even, because you don't learn your lessons. You continue to give the Chicago Bears as an organization benefit of the doubt that they do not deserve. So you can look at all of this, and honestly, you look at the offensive unit around Justin Fields. You got a 5th-round pick from last year starting your right tackle. You've got a 5th-round pick from this year's draft, Braxton Jones, starting at left tackle. You've still got Sam Mustipher on the starting unit of the offensive line. That says enough in and of itself. The only thing he's good at is blocking his people on Twitter, for crying out loud. So there are plenty of excuses that you can make for Justin Fields so far this year. But come on, Bears fans. You gotta stop getting ridiculous with some of this crap. Like, you used to do the same crap with Mitchell. You did the same crap with Trubisky. It was everybody else's fault except his. It was always something else. It was always some other type of bullshit. Some type of minimization. Same crap with Cutler for all 8 years of that goddamn wasted time experience. Same crap with Rex Grossman. I could go on and on and on. Always looking for excuses. Always looking to minimize. And you're seeing the same crap again with Justin Fields. It's like a vicious cycle. That's what it is. Everything about this Bears organization, including its fan base, is a vicious cycle. Because when you look at last Thursday's game, for example, against the Washington Commanders, you've got people online talking about, well, you know, it's not really Justin Fields' fault that he threw the ball off of the helmet of somebody on the defensive line and it got intercepted in the red zone. What? Oh, he got the offensive line pushed back in his face. Oh, he went to Cole Kmet. That was the right read. Not only would I question the logic of taking a tight end who doesn't have a tremendous amount of short area burst and quickness and explosiveness like Cole Kmet and having him be the one that you isolate one-on-one, not to run a fade or something like that, but to run like this kind of slow developing in route against a blitz. Who does that? Put him up. I'm Luke Getsy, the offensive coordinator. I got courage. I know what I'm doing. I know what I'm doing. Put him up. But I saw somebody on Twitter and I responded back to it because it was fucking ridiculous. We have to lash out against these ridiculous things. Talking about, well, this is a constant problem for Justin Fields. He got the offensive line getting pushed back in his face. Now that part is absolutely true. But then to call out and say, well, as a result, that means it's not Justin Fields' fault for throwing it off of the defender's helmet. Number one, he had a bad arm angle. So yeah, that is on him. Number two, more importantly, he fucked up the pre-snap read. He had Equanimeous St. Brown streaking wide open in the flat. Wasn't even looking there. Never looked at it. Didn't recognize the look with having the pressure coming off of both edges, meaning that on the right, you go watch that play, he had man-to-man coverage, and that meant true man-to-man, meaning number 20 was sitting there lined up against St. Brown, and he was playing like 5 yards off. You've got to be able to recognize that. And he didn't. So you got people making excuses about the offensive line. The offensive line sucks enough in pass protection. There's no need to sit there and unnecessarily lob additional blame on them when it's not merited. That shit was on Justin Fields. Then it kills me. The play to Ryan Griffin. Keyshawn Johnson, I think, said it. Then other people started saying it. Trent Dilfer, I think, started saying it. And it's like, come the fuck on. Talking about, it's not Justin Fields' fault that he overthrew a wide open Ryan Griffin. It's the tight end's fault for running a half-assed route. Even if you want to say he ran a half-assed route, he kind of did. Fields has still got to make that throw. That's a touchdown, damn it. The whole his receiver sucks so nobody ever gets open. I promise you in today's NFL, you get enough instances where enough wide receivers can still get open. Because they're not able to do nearly as much talking about defensive backs and secondary players as they used to be able to do. So give me that crap. You even had Herbstreit throughout the game. Here's an Ohio State guy you would think would be pretty biased toward Justin Fields, right? He's sitting there calling out time after time how Justin Fields is missing guys. That's on Justin Fields. Missing a throw like that to Ryan Griffin, that's on Justin Fields. Missing the proper adjustment based off of the man look and the blitz look to be able to audible to the hot route, the flat, which is something you would see somebody like a Rodgers or a Brady or a Mahomes or even Allen do 99 out of 100 damn times. That's on Justin Fields. Like, goddamn. You could sit there and say, well, the ball was in a kind of a bad spot. The receiver got his hands on it. He should catch it. Yes, I agree. Absolutely. You should say the same thing when it was Trubisky throwing the damn ball. But at some point in time, the ball placement's got to be a little bit better too. And what's so frustrating about Justin Fields sometimes is you see that big play potential. You see the flashes. But that's all it is right now. It's just flashes. Like you look at that big deep throw for a touchdown to Dante Pettis. Dildo hands Pettis caught one. How about that? That was a beautiful play. He stood tough in the pocket, even had the frickin' edge rusher bearing down on him. His left tackle was getting pushed back into him, and he made the throw. Perfect. It was fantastic. That's the type of stuff that Justin Fields can do. He can make some of the big splash plays. You look at that big long run late. I mean, my God, that was a game changer. But then even when you talk about, you get down in the red zone, you could talk about, hey, Luke Getsy doesn't call one damn real rollout, run, read option, anything like that for him. You know what? That's fine. But at some point in time, as a quarterback, you got to sit there and say, fuck it, it's my team. This guy doesn't know what the fuck he's doing. I'm going to audible this shit because I'm the guy at the end of the day. And that's what you need to see out of him. We could bitch about gutless Getsy another time because there's plenty of blame to go there, believe me, so far. But even when you look at the third and fourth down, you could say, well, third down, the throw was a little late, but at least Pettis had a chance. But on the fourth down play, everybody's lashing out and burying Darnell Mooney, saying, hey, if you want to be a wide receiver one, you got to catch the ball. By the way, they're right. But Justin Fields was still late to make that throw. The timing was off. That's on Justin Fields. I understand, Bears fans, you want Justin Fields to desperately be the guy. And I promise you, I want him to be the dude in Chicago as much as any of you, and in some cases probably way more damn so. But stop always coming up with an excuse for everything with these damn quarterbacks. It's pathetic. Vicious cycle of insanity. You want to celebrate the good and the great flashes that you see out of them? Fine, I do too. But the problem is you don't see the baseline benchmark, consistent, good skills and good performance out of Fields on a game in, game out basis. And that is concerning. It doesn't make him a failure. It doesn't make him a bust. It doesn't mean it's time to give up on him. I'm not saying any of that. But it's really hard to take you seriously when you're talking about it's the tight end's fault because Justin Fields overthrew him by like 1.5 yards. It's really hard for me to take you seriously when you're blaming the offensive line for Justin Fields making the wrong read pre-snap and going to the wrong read, the wrong throw, and then throwing with a crappy arm angle. Like, this is the type of stuff. It just hurts credibility. Fields, as a young quarterback, is going to make mistakes. I'm totally comfortable with that. But when he does, stop making excuses for them. You're not impressing anybody. It doesn't make you any better of a fan. It doesn't make it any more likely that Fields is going to be the guy. It just makes you somebody that nobody should listen to, frankly, because it gets kind of pathetic because it's a year-over-year thing, honestly.